what is it? It's Wednesday. And it is also 3rd. Been mixing my dates up all month. Sorry. I'm deleting a few things. I hope everyone's having a good day. Um, so far, I'm not having a bad day, although it has been raining again, and it has been, this is the 3rd day in a row, and not a drizzle, occasionally going into a drizzle, but it's been pretty steady for 3 days, and we have one more. But then it promises to be a nice weekend. Here's what I love about this type of rain coming so steady and continuous for this long. When it's over, and then you get that first warm, it'll be in the mid 60s. Everything blossoms. It's like the entire month, everything has waited for this. A little bit of a warming trend through March, a little bit of rain, but then you hit that steady rain coming down, and it ignites the spring process. I wrote before that, spring officially starts March 1st, meteorologically, also based upon the Gregorian calendar. Astronomically, according to the solstice and basically what we celebrate as the first day of spring, it was March 19th this year. Usually the 19th, 20th, I think occasionally the 21st. All has to do with the alignment of the position of Earth as it orbits the sun. But for me, as much as I love to be able to celebrate spring coming earlier, it really hits when we have that first day after the really steady rain, the first warm day after that really steady day, and everything all of a sudden is just alive, celebrating. Earth is celebrating the arrival of spring, the end of winter, the end of that rain. Although, of course, April, it's going to rain again. Maryland is officially, it's getting a rainy season, it seems. Well, man, it rains a lot in Maryland, more so than I ever remember. And, of course, it's a little different in the summer. In summer, we don't really have steady days of rain as often. We have that cloud burst, the buildup of heat, and then through the summer, almost every day, it seems that we have a thunderstorm, and lately, tornadoes in the area. When I was a kid, we'd have tornado warnings, and I would ignore them. We'd still be out there playing. But nowadays, you got to take those tornado warnings seriously because they happen everywhere, places you never thought they would. I have a friend who lost his barn in Pennsylvania to a tornado, a place that hasn't had a tornado in like 40 years or something. Hey, my friend Caleb Boo is here. Good morning. Big likes. Thank you. I appreciate that. Haven't seen you for a while. Hope everything is going good for you. I'm thinking of talking a little bit about breath work. Breath work always seems to be a popular topic with people, and I absolutely love talking about it. Kayla says, yep, everyone has been all right. Hope you're well. Thank you. I am doing pretty well. Appreciate that, and I appreciate you stopping by. I think there's a certain mystique to breath work and what it can do, and it's a well-deserved mystique because, I teach meditation. I have for a while. I've practiced it for, man, really 40 years. Seriously, for 30. But, that first 10 years, you just try it out and see if it's going to stick. And I'm a breathwork coach, pranayama teacher. But I got to say, as much as I love meditation, I think you can get so many I'm going to go so far as to say 90% plus of all the benefits of meditation by practicing breath work for less than 5 minutes 3 times a day. Would generally recommend is you have your practice 3 times a day, morning practice, afternoon practice, evening practice to help you go to sleep, and then therapeutically as needed, meaning if you're super stressed out, if you need some energy, if you need to bring yourself down a little bit, if you're nervous, there's specific breaths for all of that. It's a wonderful thing about breath work. In a minute periods of time, in a 3 minute period of time, in a 5 minute period of time, you can literally change your energy state. You can go from that fight or flight, the sympathetic nervous state, to rest and digest, the parasympathetic nervous state. You can change your physiological response to what's happening in the world. You can bring your heart rate down almost instantly. You can lower your blood pressure. You improve your immune system. The problem is a couple problems. It can be a little overwhelming to think, what should I do? Or, and I think this is the biggest problem, you use the wrong breath for the wrong occasion, which probably happens more so than anything else. That I know lots of people who like to do the breath of fire or Wim Hof breathing, and maybe the only time they can fit that in their schedule is in the evening, which is the wrong time to do either one of those breaths, because they're a stimulating breath and it can keep you up. You want something that's going to bring you down, something that's going to lower the heart rate, something that I forget what sleep study I read, that it's really difficult to sleep if your heart rate is over 60 rates per minute. So you want to do a breathing pattern that's going to lower your heart rate under 60. As well, you want something that is going to put you into that parasympathetic nervous state, the rest and digest state. And that's going to have so many benefits anyway, because it improves your digestion as you're sleeping. So you wake up refreshed. You wake up rested. You've entered a deeper sleep, and you've not spending as much time digesting food, which takes an enormous amount of energy. So highly, highly recommend doing some breath work, but the proper breath work for the right occasion. You do your breath of fire for the morning, first thing in the morning, and you do some type of easy, steady breath, breathing in for 4, exhaling for 4 in the afternoon, or anulome belome, which is alternate nostril breathing. Wonderful breath, and you can play around with how you do it. It'll lower your heart rate, it'll lower your blood pressure. If you did that breath alone once a day, it would have profound impact on your blood pressure, on your heart rate, on your immune system, on your mental well-being, on your emotional state of life, on your digestion. It's an amazing practice. I don't know. Hey, our friend Odom's Homestead is here, saying, hey, Odom, how are you? Man, we're getting an awful lot of rain here. 3 days in a row of steady, like nonstop steady. So yeah, and that one breath, there's so many different styles that you can use to do it with. That could be your entire practice. Zagfee Vio is saying hi, and I cannot read the rest of that. I'm sorry, but I do want to say hi, and I appreciate you being here. Thank you. And I appreciate the hi. So I know, polarizing figure. A lot of people dislike her. some people like her. Um, this isn't about politics at all. But, and here's the name I'm going to drop. And like I said, some people aren't going to like it. Hillary Clinton. Let's put politics aside. Let's put everything about Hillary Clinton aside, except for one thing. When she testified before Congress, um, it was for 11 hours. They had very few bathroom breaks. And even the opposition, even those who were um, conducting the hearing, and you could say it was for her, it was a hostile audience. Even they commented that she was composed and didn't get flustered and answered everything straightforward. And when she was interviewed and said, "How did you do that? How did you stay so composed?" She said, "I practiced my yoga." And further along in the conversation, when they said, "Well, how do you practice your yoga in a courthouse?" And she said she did anulom vilom, which is the alternate nostril breathing, and it helped keep her composed. Now we can drop the name. Just wanted to put that out there. How in any situation, if you got stage fright, if you're going in for a job interview, if you spend 5 minutes, 3 minutes doing that, specifically that breath, it'll make a huge difference. Hinin, Hinim. And again, I apologize, I'm mispronouncing your name. Hamon is saying hi. Hello, my friend, how are you? And once again, I apologize for mispronouncing any name. If it makes anyone feel better, I mispronounce. I always stumble over my channel's name, just the Yogi doing burpees in his basement. Almost 2 out of 3 times, I'll stumble over it. I'll say it backwards or whatever. And I will mispronounce as many English words, as many English names as I do any other name. So I am an equal opportunity mispronouncer, if that makes anyone feel better. So all the talk on breath work doesn't mean that I wouldn't encourage everyone to meditate, because I certainly would. Meditation is a game changer. Literally, it'll change your life. I've already told countless stories of how it has for me. From addiction to creativity, relationships. How when I started meditating, certain relationships just effortlessly dropped from my life, as if they no longer belonged, as if the energy field shifted and we were no longer in the same orbit. And we just both went our way easily, without any drama, without any animosity, as well as new relationships coming in that better served me. Some I didn't know how they were going to serve or how I would serve them. But then in hindsight, you see how it was so perfect the way it was, even if later we ended up parting company. I could talk for hours. I could have an entire live session just talking about addiction and my own battle with alcohol. I did recreational drugs as a teenager. Recreational, it was fun. I smoked a lot of pot. I ate mushrooms. I dropped acid. I did some other things, but I would never say it was a issue or a problem, because eventually it's like when you're a kid and you play with toys and eventually the toys are left behind. It was the same with the recreational drugs. Very important to me, the psychedelics that I did in so many ways in shaping the weirdness of my life now. I doubt I would be as significantly weird as I am now without the use of holotropic substances. You know what? I thought it might be Burmese. Hi, don't worry, it's Burmese. It's understandable. Also, I'm just on my computer. It's Flowers. Oh, hey, Flower. How are you? This is the 3rd name. You know what, though? Flower is just so fitting. Or Jewel. Jewel is pretty. We mentioned that yesterday. But in the late 80s, early 90s, it's not like I discovered drinking. You know, you go high school, you go to parties, you drink. But for some reason, I discovered the big social impact that drinking had on me. That I could go to bars and I could have a few drinks. I never had a few drinks. I had a lot of drinks. And all of a sudden, um, things just opened up. I opened up. I was more social. I used to tell people I was a social drinker, but I found every opportunity to be social. Monday to the following Monday, I was social every single night. Flower said I forgot my phone at school. Well, I'm sorry. Um, and let's see. Flower says hi, garden. Okay, Renee's garden is here. Uh, saying hi to Flower. Appreciate you being here, my friend. And Kay is saying hey, Yogi in chat. So, um, through the 90s, much of the 90s until the last year in the 90s, I drank. I might have drank almost every single day from probably 19, let's say 1990, 1991 until 1999 when I quit drinking. Now, I had been meditating, but I didn't take it seriously until about 95 when I decided this is no more playing around. I'm diving into meditation as a lifestyle. My life will be centered on this. And it was still a little hit and miss for a while, but when I did it, I was very serious. I don't think I missed a day, but I might have missed a session or two. And in 98, I never missed a session, twice a day, every day. Of course, I discovered the style that seemed to work best for me at the time, still does, and that's what I teach. Primordial sound meditation, which we could say is derivative from transcendental meditation, which is derivative of all Vedic yogic meditation techniques. It's a mantra-based meditation. When I got serious about meditation, my life got serious, meaning the things that I wanted, the things that I wanted to do, the things that I wanted to be started flowing. For much of my life, since I was a kid, I wanted to be a writer, and I was a writer that had absolutely nothing to write about. I'd have these stretches of creativity, writing poems, which is what I preferred, and then it would be over, and I would get depressed. I've got nothing to write about. I'm uninspired. Writer's block. Writer's block is an imagined affliction. Of course, it happens. It happens to so many people, but it's still imagined. Because what you're saying is, I have nothing to write about. You're coming from the ego. Approach it from the heart. Approach it from where inspiration is born, and you're never not inspired. Look out the window at any time of the day, and the world rushes in. The universe rushes in. You can't find a single thing to write about. What most people would say is, I want to write about this specific thing, and I can't, so I'm uninspired. Drop it and write about whatever, and you're priming the pump of inspiration. Inspiration is ever present. Inspire means in breath. So we are never without the breath. It's another thing that breath work helps. But meditation, all of a sudden, I was split open. I like to say that I was broken, because I absolutely love Leonard Cohen, the songwriter, and how he says that everything in the world was meant to be broken, because that's how the light gets in. My friend Flower says, don't forget to drop a like, everyone. Thank you so much, my friend. Man, I got the best people who drop in. Our friend Tokyo's here. Good afternoon, brother. Hope all is well, man. Thanks for all your support, my friend. Hey, I'm happy to support. Um, I got that list of people that I really feel are just doing some amazing stuff. And by amazing, what I mean, what I deeply mean, you're spreading joy, you're spreading happiness, your own joy and happiness. That stuff's contagious. You can't be around someone who loves what they're doing without experiencing that yourself, without being drawn into the passion, drawn into the joy, drawn into the happiness. And then you walk away, and a little bit of that is left in your heart, and you carry it with you for the rest of the day. If you visit them often, man, you got a nonstop source of joy and inspiration. That's what that's what I would like my channel to be. I can't say that it is, but that's the intent. I'm not even going to say that I try, because I just come and I just talk. Some days are better than others. Some days the words flow. Other days I'm stumbling around in the dark trying to find a little bit of light to offer to you guys, to offer to myself. Sometimes it clicks. It's all we can ever do. It reminds me of when Ram Dass was asked about the spiritual path, and he said, "We're all just walking each other home." What a beautiful, beautiful sentiment. We're all just walking each other home. Let's Google up. Always love the opportunity to get to my Google machine and do some Googling. Don't know if you guys, I'm sure everyone's heard of Ram Dass. He was part of the Harvard Psychedelic Club. He was a Harvard professor. It's a big thing. You don't get to be a Harvard professor in psychology department. One, without connections. Two, without a lot of brains and a lot of talent. And he was working with Timothy Leary. Timothy Leary being the father of American psychedelics. Tune in. What was it? Tune in, drop out. I forget the other part. And he started the whole counterculture 60s movement. All the hippies dropping LSD. And that's when, funny thing, LSD and the experiments with LSD was from the CIA on certain people, volunteers, because they wanted mind control. They wanted the perfect citizen. They wanted the perfect soldier. They wanted the perfect drone, someone who's just going to follow the path. And it had the exact opposite effect of what they wanted. And the entire counterculture, Allen Ginsberg, Timothy Leary, all of them sprung up from those early days. Ram Dass is another. Ram Dass was Richard Alpert, the Harvard professor who experimented with, might have been mescal, and it changed his life. Later on, he experimented with LSD, He took it all the time. And he had this shift in consciousness that he didn't have a map to explain it. Western civilization Western society didn't have a map for that type of thinking. It did, but he didn't know to turn to the Christian mystics at the time. Now we know. So he did all he could do. He went east. He wanted to study the Tibetan Book of the Dead, which is actually better translated as the Tibetan Book of Living and Dying, because it is as much about living as it is about dying. Flower asked if anyone else is here. People seem to be popping in and popping out. I think 3 people might be here. As far as I'm concerned, um, one person is enough to have a great conversation with. Three people is even better. Um, and I've sat here for an hour with no one here and had the exact same conversation as I would have if there was 400 people here. My goal isn't so much to have an audience as it is to share, if that makes sense. Algo is here. Hello, my friend. How are you? Um, so Ram Dass actually, he wanted to study Buddhism, but instead he stumbled upon a Vedic yogic guru who taught him how to be a bhakti yoga. A bhakti yoga is the yoga of devotion. That's the yoga of having your heart broken so that the light comes in. You learn that ever-present love that's in your heart, that once it's broken, is overflowing. The dam has burst, and you're in love with the universe. You're in love with life. You're in love with reality, and every aspect. It's the way of Brahma. Brahma is my favorite expression for God because it doesn't have any of the connotations of the gods that we think of, the God that we think of. It's not a God of opinion. It's not a God of belief. It's the God of reality, of existence. So you can't argue with reality. You can't deny reality. You can't argue with existence. Everyone knows that they exist. That's the whole principle of I am. And I am is across every religious and philosophical border. In the Bible, be still and know that I am. When Moses went up the Mount Sinai and received the Ten Commandments, he asked the burning bush, "Who should I say I received these from?" And the bush replied, "I am that I am." And of course, Nisargadatta Maharishi's seminal classic "I Am That," which is just a I don't even know words to describe it. For me, it was a life-changing experience just to hold the book in my hand. Algo said that he's good. Let's see. Kay said, "That's right, Yogi. Thank you." And Halgo says, "I'm good, just working right now." Well, I appreciate you stopping by on your work or your work break, or you have it up running. All of that's appreciated. I'm working on my watch hours. So always appreciate. I'm inching my way closer to being halfway where I need to be. And then I'm going to do this really hard push, like a final dash, to get that second half. And we'll see how it goes. We'll see if I have that much to talk about. I might run out of words before I even get halfway there. Find myself stricken silent, which might be beneficial to everyone. Flower says, "If you don't mind me asking, how many siblings do you have?" Never mind you asking anything, Flower. I have an older brother and an older sister. I actually lived with my older brother when my mother was battling Alzheimer's. Man, and that is a battle for everyone concerned. It's a battle for the caregiver to maintain patience and respect, and it's a battle for the person who every day loses a little piece of their identity. Anyway, I helped my father be a caregiver, and then I was his caregiver in his final years and his final days. And my brother and I have the house that we grew up in. It's paid for, but it's a high tax bracket. So it's a battle right now between my savings getting smaller and wanting to earn some money on YouTube, getting in some watch hours. We'll see which wins out. If you see me reporting from Walmart as a Walmart greeter, you know that YouTube didn't win out. Not that that would be a bad job. Hey, any job that you can approach with a little bit of joy is going to be okay. Mocha's here. Mocha says hi. So, Flower, yes, I have an older brother and an older sister. Flower says hi to Mocha. And Hago says, that's good. I'm a carpenter, so I can't really take a break whenever I want. Since I'm my own boss. Good to be your own boss. And carpentry, what a wonderful skill. My grandfather was a carpenter. And then, of course, every time I say that, he wasn't a carpenter by trade, although he did do that on the side. He worked in the mills outside of Pittsburgh, back when Pittsburgh was a booming mill area. And of course, that always makes me think of the John Prine song, Grandpa Was a Carpenter. And Mocha, never one to miss an opportunity to, I don't want to say be a smartass, but I can imply it. It says, not a chance you'll run out of words. You know what? But that's actually probably true. I actually enjoy long periods of silence, but when I'm in talk mode, I'm firmly inspired by Neil Cassidy of On the Road fame, Jack Kerouac, who was famous for his ongoing running dialogues. It was a form, for him, it was a form of jazz. He had a beat going when he talked, and he would actually tap it out. He became the bus driver for Further, which was Ken Kesey's and the Merry Pranksters, whose house band was the Warlocks, who later became the Grateful Dead, and they drove from Menlo Park, California, to visit Timothy Leary and Ram Dass. You see how everything comes full circle in the conversation? And I still will be Googling up Ram Dass and his quote. So actually, thanks to Mocha, I did get a chance to come full circle. Algar says, can take a break. Yeah, that's a great benefit. Stephen Ortez is here. And he's got to be really proud of his timing, because I had an extended conversation when he came in last evening, and he asked for an evening stinker. And I said, man, you should have came back in the afternoon. You know what? I would. But I can't. Because as a vegan, as an environmentalist, I'm concerned about methane gas in the atmosphere. So I have made a vow not to fart. I will fart once every 21 days and not a day before. That's my commitment to the environment. That's my commitment to Earth. And Stephen, that's how much I care about you, my friend, that I'm protecting the atmosphere for you. And I hope that gets me a little bit of appreciation. Flower says, you have any children? I have a stepchild who is a wonderful, wonderful artist and was a wonderful stepchild. I was a stepfather from 9 to present, because it's a wonderful thing about being a stepfather is you've chosen to be in this person's life. And a choice like that doesn't come lightly. You stay there, always. Okay, saying hey to Mocha and Stephen. Mocha says, I am proud to be a smartass, and you do it so well. Mocha says, if you could run out of words, you enjoy making up words. So they do enjoy making up words. When you think about it, every single word is made up. And I've had this conversation with Mocha, and she sort of, it's not that she disagrees, but she doesn't think that I should be the one to continue the making up of words. But eventually, at one point in history, someone looked at this tall growing thing out of the ground and said, huh, I think I'll call that a tree. And then he called his friends over, hey, this is a tree. And his friends all said, hey, that sounds good. It's a tree. Why can't I do that? Just because you guys have collectively decided to call this a cup doesn't necessarily mean that it's a cup. I mean, it is, but it could also be called, I don't know, something. Something will occur to me. Kay says, you give great knowledge, Yogi. I appreciate you sharing. Thank you, my friend. I really appreciate that. Quite a bit. And let's see. Mocha is, Flower says Mocha is your sister, correct? Mocha is not my sister. Mocha is in a category completely of her own in my life. She has a rarefied spot in my life that defies any single description. And that, I mean, from the heart, 100% from the heart. Steven says, I made it on time today. You did. And man, I really, like I said, I really do wish I could help you. Steven says, appreciate that. Algra says, you're vegan. I am a vegan. I am a 15-year vegan, or I think going on 15 years. If you ever watched Scott Pilgrim Saves the Universe, is that the title? And he talks about the power levels of being the vegan. I am power level 5. Mocha's a vegan too, but she's level 3. It is what it is. Lewis says Eric is king vegan. You know what? I'm going to accept that title, Lewis. Thank you. Someone's got to be king vegan, and you know what? Why not? Why not me? It is what it is. Says good morning, YouTube family. Steven says hey, Decay. Hi, Decay. Helga says, why did you become a vegan, or were you always a vegan? Man, that's a great question. I was a vegetarian a number of years before. I was a cheating vegetarian, but mainly a vegetarian. That was part of a yogic lifestyle, Ayurvedic approach, where they would still have some dairy, they would still have some eggs. And I occasionally snuck like chicken and fish in. Fish fairly often for a long time. And I really felt I had wanted to be a vegan for a long time. When I was a teenager, I worked in a veal farm, and it was a horrifying experience. It's one thing working, this was a family farm, and I was living there with a cousin. It's one thing, animal husbandry, taking care of the animals that you care for, the small farms that we used to have, but now it's a business, and animals are treated as a commodity. They're treated as a product, not as living beings. And it had a deep effect on me. If I had to eat meat, or if anyone had to eat meat, I'd rather they go hunting where an animal enjoys the life that we're meant to enjoy for as long as possible. Or animal husbandry, where the animals that we take care of the animals, and then they take care of us. That's the true cycle of life, not the things that we do. Hogger says you drink milk. Nope, no, nothing that ever came from anything that ever had a mother or anything that had a face. But I'm not a preachy vegan. I wish people would go plant-based, meaning that would include meat if you decide to eat meat, or fish, or eggs, or dairy. But for health reasons, if you consume more plants than meat, I think you're better off and it's better for the environment. But not everyone needs to be vegan. For me, I took an ethical stance of being vegan. When my um, yoga deepened, when my meditation really began to deepen, I started more and more making that commitment. And if you practice true yoga, it begins with the foundation of ethics. And the very first one is ahimsa, which means non harm. You live a life of not harming any creature, minimizing harm. People love to point out, well, you step on insects or, by accident, of course. Um, both Mocha and I have stopped in the middle of a 24-hour race or a 50-mile race or even a 100-mile race to pick up worms and put them aside. Um, so we both have a deep commitment for the well-being of everything and everybody, from plants to trees to whatever. Um, so, and also health-wise, especially at the time when I was entering into ultra running, I thought it would help my performance. So there were some selfish goals there as well. Mocha says, definitely not your sister. And yes, definitely not. Flower says, I thought of a salad and now I'm hungry for one. You should definitely make a salad. That's good for you. Helga said that's a better reason than most vegans, but there are some interesting vegans out there. There are. Look up he calls himself, his name's Michael Arnstein. He calls himself the fruitarian. Early inspiration for me in my ultra running. And he would run ultras and he would eat nothing but oranges for 100 miles or nothing but dates or sometimes he did nothing but bananas, 30 a day in a race. And he was fast. He did, I think his best 100-mile race was like 14 hours and something, which is amazing. And which is about 13 hours, I think, faster than I've ever even come close to running that. Flower says, I have no ingredients for a salad. I'm sorry about that. I had to go to the store today to make sure that I had ingredients for my salad that I make every day. So, Ram Dass. I'm actually reading another book. I read his book, Be Here Now, probably 1980 or so. And it started, really put me firmly on the path of yoga. Everything about my life always steered in that direction. When I was 11 years old, I bought a book, Teach Yourself Yoga, and proceeded to, for several years, teach myself yoga. Hagar says, I didn't like vegans for a long time because all the vegans I met were completely crazy. Yeah, sometimes, the passion for something, the energy of that passion really comes out in extreme ways. But when you think about it, anyone who is so passionate about a subject that they would change everything about their lives, how they eat, the clothes they wear, the people they relate to, sometimes their jobs, that's pretty amazing. For me, I personally think that you make, you can sort of help steer people, not by force, not by putting all that crazy energy out, but, I always revert back to Gandhi. Be the change you wish to see in the world. I don't need to go out and convert people to be vegan. I just need to be a vegan. And then I get to have great conversations with friends like you. And they might say something like, you know what? I could go vegan once a week or plant-based once a week. I could have some type of, Impossible or Beyond Meat burger once a week instead of a regular, once a month, or on occasion as a salute. Hey, my friend Eric's a vegan. He's an okay guy. So that's the stuff. That's the energy that carries over, not the extreme. I'm going to throw paint on your fur coat, or I'm going to protest your favorite restaurant or whatever, because it alienates people, doesn't get the message out. The message is, the message that you're putting out is what Holgo said. They just seem pretty crazy. What does that accomplish? And that's across the board. And if you have a political point that you'd like to get across, don't go about it as if you're crazy. Go about it as, this is what I care about, and this is why I care about it, and I live my life by these principles. I don't expect you to live your life by these principles, but I appreciate you listening, or I appreciate that maybe you might be a little bit inspired by my own lifestyle. Lewis says, if all vegans could be like Eric, I'm going to throw in Mocha as well. If all vegans could be like Eric, the world would be a better place. I don't think Mocha has ever in a conversation said, you should be vegan to anyone, or my way is better than yours. This is just what Mocha does. She's a vegan. It's her life. She doesn't expect anyone else to have to be this. She doesn't do it with her child. I sort of did it with her when I became a vegan, and I was like, you really should be a vegan. But she was the only person I ever did that to. And because I've been with her for 23, 22 years, I'm allowed to do that to one person. She's the one. I never did it when I was, caretaker for my father. If he wanted something specific to eat, until his final days when I needed to keep his blood pressure at a certain point. If he wanted something to eat, I cooked him what he had. My father at the time was in his late 80s, early 90s. He was he grew up as a hunter. He stopped when he came home from World War II. He was out in the woods with his gun. He saw a fox and he shot a fox. And he approached it and literally crying. And he thought to himself, I love foxes. They're beautiful. I always love seeing them. And I don't know why I shot it other than my entire life. We shot things. And I'm never going to do it again. Put his rifle aside. When I wanted to be a hunter in my early teens, literally was the last thing he ever wanted from me. But he didn't say don't do it. He knew that I would learn the hard way, the way he did. And his father was a forest ranger and game warden. That's what the family did, and that's what they still do. I had a cousin who unfriended me on Facebook because I was a vegan. He said my grandfather would not have approved that I took his exact words, I took a bad bump down the family tree, which is probably true. I've taken a bad bump from a lot of type of trees. I've fully embraced my my own path, as weird as it might be. Olga says, like I met this one vegan who could only feed their dog vegetables, and I thought it was cruel. Dogs can actually thrive on that, but we never did it. Now, if my dog specifically said, hey, I want to be a vegan, that would be a different story. But since none of my dogs have ever, really put their opinion in that clear language, I feed them what they want. So, our friend Brian Lane is here. Hey, buddy, hope everyone is having a blessed day. Thanks, Brian. I'm sure you guys you've heard me talk. Hey, actually, while I'm here, I was going to recommend Brian's channel. I know many people are, but if you're not, check out Brian's channel. Visit Hallgo, an amazing channel. Kay, wonderful channel. My friend Noble Scrolling Traveler is here, and let's see. Brian says, just thought I'd stop by before doing a workout in a little bit. Appreciate that. Brian does amazing workouts. These, this is what I love to see, the colliding of my worlds. With the burpee community, and then a lot of my new friends that I'm meeting, from gamers, the ultimate YouTube live streamer, Noble Scrolling Traveler. So if you guys want to see some really good burpees, go visit Brian Lane. Go visit It Is What It Is. And he's probably tired of hearing me say this. It's the ultimate expression of what a burpee should look like. End of discussion. No one does it better. Some do it as well in their own way, but no one does it better. If you want to see what an old man doing burpees in his basement looks like, cue up one of my burpee videos. You might say, hey, that's pretty impressive that there's an old man doing burpees in his basement, but it's still an old man doing burpees in his basement. Even worse, it's a half-naked bald man in his basement doing burpees. Flower says that she has water balloons for the Water Fest. That's a big deal. Waterfest is a very big deal where Flower is from. Man, what a great festival, celebrating water. The thing which we cannot survive without. So Noble says, hello Eric, I'm glad to see Huggo in the chat. So am I. I'm glad that I can pass some more people your way. And I always hope to return the favor. Every single, really, I can't do a live stream and not pay tribute to, and I mean it honestly, the king of live streaming. Everyone is welcome. And Noble's live stream, everyone gets a shout out, their own personal shout out, as if he's welcoming his best friend in the world that he hasn't seen for a year. Enthusiasm for every single person that shows up. That's pretty big. It is what it is. Says, I don't drink protein shakes because of all the BS it has. But when I do drink a shake, it's plant-based and it's delicious. It is. I mostly get everything I need from my diet. I do take a few supplements, so take a multivitamin. I do take creatine, I've mentioned before. It helps with the explosiveness of the burpees for me, or so it seems. Brian says, I don't eat meat either anymore. I didn't know that, Brian. That's awesome. Noble says, hey, Helgo, I was wondering where you went. I ended my session. It is what it is. Giving Brian a salute. Brian has definitely earned his salute. Helgo says, yeah, sorry about that. And hi to Lewis. Imoka says, I've never told anyone what they should be. You are correct. Yeah, you know, I know this stuff. I'm observant. I've paid attention to you through the years. Mocha's a kind-hearted person who changed her diet to be kind to others. So to inflict her opinion on someone wouldn't be kind. So it goes in that direction. You know, you don't get to pick and choose your kindness. you're just kind. You just put that energy out there. Noble says, don't be sorry. It is what it is, says, I would never get tired of it, Eric. I should also mention that It Is What It Is always has the perfect soundtrack for his burpees. To me, that's as impressive as his form. Sometimes, you know what, I think having the perfect soundtrack for something in your life is one of the most important decisions you can make in a course of a day. I think Noble would understand that because I saw his record collection, and it's an awesome record collection, and it's records. Mocha, you'll appreciate that. He has an actual record collection. Doesn't have a streaming service collection. It doesn't have a CD collection. I might be impressed if he had an 8-track tape collection. Lewis says you do a fantastic job with them burpees, Eric. Thank you. I try. You know, again, some days some things hurt more than others. So you always work with the body that you have. It's one of the things I always told you in Bikram Yoga. Perform with the body that you have today. Don't always, you know, I got to do this today because I did it yesterday or the day before. You work with the body that you have now. Some days that body clicks and you got a great session. You get a ton of reps. Everything flows. Some days body just doesn't want to cooperate as much. So you work with what you have. You work with the energy that you have. Noble says, I'm glad to see more people here. You deserve the views. Thank you, buddy. You have a great content, and thank you, buddy. I appreciate that. I appreciate the people stopping by too and putting up with the weird conversation that never seems to have a particular sticking point. I'll go. It says, okay, guys, it's been great, but gotta go back to work. Thank you for stopping by. I really appreciate it. Have a good rest of your day at work. Be safe. I know carpentry site has some hazards. You got to be mindful. It's a wonderful thing about doing carpentry work is it definitely builds that skill of being mindful with what you're doing. Man, to me, it always seemed as much mental, maybe even more so. It's amazing when you think of a carpenter being able to visualize the end product. Never been seen before. That particular house, that particular building, that particular cabinet, whatever it is you're working, has never been seen in existence before, only in the mind of a carpenter. And then they take it and they make it into an actuality. That's the secret of manifestation. It's the secret of the secret of taking the formless ideas and making it into form. Brian says, hey, Noble, saw your college baseball announcer. That is great, man. Yeah, actually, Noble, Brian mentioned that the day that you were doing it, said he stopped by. Roadkill came by from Masha. I appreciate that. Says, I connected with you, brother. Hope you have an amazing day. I hope so, too. And I'm looking forward to spending some time on your channel. Noble says, see you later, Hago. Have a great day at work, buddy. Brian said, Paradox got some good burpees in today. I didn't see the video yet, but I saw him pop up. And I saw that it was a commando. I have never done a commando burpee. I always just wanted to keep my burpees simplified. particularly love six counts, but I don't do 6 counts anymore because I'm nasal breathing for all my reps, and you can't do 6 counts and nasal breathe. Noble says, thank you, Brian, for visiting the channel. I have more games in 4 hours. I checked out your workouts, and they are fantastic, brother. I do love Brian's workouts, but for me, my favorite, his nature videos, and when he opens up and shares his journey, where he is, where he came from, where he is now, and where he hopes to go. Brian has a truly powerful message to share. And I really think his channel is just going to continue to grow and grow because so many people are going to be inspired by what he's putting out there. As well, Noble's channel is just going to grow. As I mentioned, the king of live stream. Brian says, thanks, Noble. It is what it is. That's from Brian, what's on the burpee menu today? Brian loves doing those multiple pumps. Sometimes with a jump, sometimes with squats. Squirrel Sniper is here. Greeting, beautiful souls from across the pond. Hello, my friend. How are you? Lewis says those commando burpees are no joke. He did great. Others don't do the jump or the backwards rep like Doc did. I put Doc's up there as one of the power movers in the burpee community. He's like still in the game, Tony Han or Duncan. He has power to spare. Brian's like that as well. Brian says, man, I'm thinking of doing similar ones to Maddie Does Burpee, adding a hop kickback on the third, and then double seals, I'm thinking. I love Maddie's routines. It's been a while since I've done one, but I've mentioned before, Maddie is a literal genius at programming and a creative genius as well. Excuse me. For those who don't know Maddie or aren't in the burpee community, he'll tell a story. Lately, he's been doing biblical stories on his burpee workouts, or he'll take it from like a Renaissance perspective, and you're doing these reps because you're battling a dragon, and if you get this, or a giant spider, if you get this many reps, in this certain way, then you win. If you don't, you fall behind, and eventually you're eaten by the spider. Really amazing creative content. Lou says, I have a short video on how the Commandos is done following Moses. Moses is amazing to watch. True artist. Squirrel Sniper says, saw you live, smashed the like, cooking dinner, so listening in. I appreciate that. I figure I'm going to chat for another 5 or 10 minutes. Oh, let me read this first, and then I'll put it out there. Noble says, I've been getting a lot at doing push-ups, because every 10 likes, I do 10 push-ups. I got 30 likes yesterday. I started with only 10 a day. And occasionally, burpees, which is always great to see. If you visit Noble's site, make sure you hit the like button. Every 10 likes, as he mentioned, he does 10 push-ups. My own personal goal is to have him get up to 100 likes, because I care. I care about everyone's fitness. Genuinely, actually, I do. Brian says, that's great. Lewis, I don't know if I can even do a commando. I bet you could. Flower says, I'm going to take a bath. See you tomorrow. Thank you, my friend. Make sure you make proper use of those water balloons for the Waterfest. It is what it is. Says the hardest part of the commando burpees is remembering all the movements before you say one. Yeah, I think that's the drawback for me. I just really like everything simple. It is what it is saying bye to Flower. She's saying bye. Brian is saying have a blessed day. Noble says every other day I do burpees. Awesome. Glad to see the burpee message having another practitioner spread the magic of burpees. Brian says that's great, Noble. Noble, did you ever do burpees in the Army? So, let's see that I'm here online. What was, oh, I was looking up. Ram Dass and his wonderful, wonderful quote. It is what it is. Says it's given Noble 100, well-deserved 100. Doesn't fail to get in his push-ups or his burpees when it's called for. When he hits that number, people remind him, and he's there. Never tries to get out of it. Never says, never has an excuse. Let's leave it at that. Brian says, yeah, guys, I'm going to get out. Wish you all the blessings through all your moments present today. Thank you. Appreciate you stopping by. I'm going to call it a day in just a minute or two myself. It is what it is. Says, any idea how many burpees y'all going to do on June 8th? I'm not signed in on that yet. I hope to. I'm just going to wait a little bit closer to see how things are shaping. Noble, there's going to be a worldwide burpee initiative across every time zone across the world on June 8th. Our friend Osiris is putting it all together. If you visit Osiris's channel, I need to remember to post links for you guys. I don't know how to post links here in the chat. Maybe eventually. Although the people that I know who post links when they're doing it don't often have a conversation. They make comments. And the reason I'm here, I love sharing the channels and I want to give everyone a shout out, but it's all part of the conversation that we're having because I want to talk about the channels, not just post a link and then move on. It's a wonderful way for those channels to do it. And I've met some great people. But I want to have a conversation with each and every one of you. So I don't know if I could do that and drop channels at the same time. So instead, what I hope is that by talking about the channels, you guys get curious and say, man, I got to check this person out. Because everyone who's visited here has such an awesome channel that deserves all the recognition in the world. Noble says, yes, a lot of burpees. My unit would do 4 100s and then push-ups, sit-ups, burpees, and air squats. Amazing. That's like Iron Wolf's channel. It's a Marine um, instructor, drill instructor, and he has a channel devoted to conditioning, focused on burpees, but not exclusively. Everyone's saying goodbye to Brian. Have a blessed day. Brian says he might stop by Nibbles baseball later. I definitely plan on stopping by. What I often do, I'd love going and then spending some time, and then if I'm going to go live myself, or if I have to step away, I keep if somebody's live streaming, I'll keep it up and running. Like I have Nobles, his Good Morning America up, but as I move on it now, I see that he is over, obviously, as he's here having a conversation. But it was running the entire time, which for me is just a wonderful way of giving some support. If anyone is trying to reach a certain goal with their channel, monetizing, it's important. So to lend people that watch hour, small gift. I think I mentioned before in the Vedic yogic tradition, you bring a gift to everyone you come in contact with every day. It doesn't have to be a physical gift. It doesn't have to even be, it can be verbal. It can be a hello. How are you? Have a great day. As Brian does, never leaves without saying have a blessed day, or coming in and saying I hope everyone is having a blessed day. But it could be as simple as a smile or holding a door open, or a silent blessing where you simply wish someone the best. You could say namaste, the light, the divinity within me salutes the divinity within you. Or you could just do a silent, like Brian does, have a blessed day. Or I wish you happiness. I love the Buddhist metta meditation, loving kindness meditation, where you are offering specific people and then eventually everyone. Eventually, you start with yourself and you work your way to the most difficult person that you know of in the world. And you begin with, may you be happy, may you be loved, may you be free from suffering and the cause of suffering. Wonderful blessing. And when you practice that for a time, it just becomes natural. It's what you're giving out to the entire world. Beautiful, beautiful practice. On YouTube, again, if you know someone, Noble wants some watch hours, it's an easy thing for me to give him, along with quite a few other people in the YouTube community. And we all benefit from it. Noble says, that is fantastic of you to support other channels. How close are you to web hours? I'm almost halfway there to where I need to be. It's 4 to monetize, and I'm almost at the halfway point. This week I should hit the halfway point. I'm in a race. I'm living on savings. And as I mentioned before, all that stands between me and being a Walmart greeter, which is not a bad job to have. I'm not even joking about it. If I, I'll be 59 in 2 weeks. I'm not going out for a career. I'm not going to I used to work in management, in retail, in the vitamin industry, health food industry, and I'm not going back in that direction. I would get a very simple job. But you know what? As I mentioned before, I inherited a house and I split the cost, and I have a great support system. So for me, making like $1,500 a month is the equivalent of someone making $10,000 a month. Honestly, pays my bills, pays my taxes. I have very few luxuries in life. except for every couple of months, I'll buy a book. That's it. I have everything I need, everything I want. But hey, if I could make that money talking to my friends on YouTube and doing burpees in my basement, um, I'm truly blessed. I'm living, for me, that's that's living the yogic lifestyle. Is that I'm doing what I can to put out good energy, to spread a little joy, to make people feel a little happier if they stop by. Um, I don't know if it's possible to make that kind of money doing this. I honestly don't. But I'm in a position to try. Uh, Between that, and I have the blog that I write in every day. I have AdSense on my blog. We'll see. Who knows? It's fun trying. And what is better than trying to um, put out positive vibrations in the world? I don't know if there is anything better. I honestly think that's our mission. Is And I'm going to end the conversation with the quote that I've been promising from Ram Dass, because that's what it's all about. Noble says, "Good for you, brother. I'm only 756 hours. I have been live streaming for 34 days now. Um, we'll get you there. I will have, you know what, I'm going to, even when I get up in the morning, I'm going to put your playlist on and just play through from the time I get up until I go to bed. Um, we will get you there. You deserve to be there. Honestly, your channel is all about making people feel good, all about making people feel welcomed. What a beautiful thing to feel welcomed, to walk into someone's channel, and just feel this joy from someone. Again, it's like, you greeting the best friend that you have in life that you haven't seen for a couple of years, and you're offering them this great greeting. So yes, I'm going to do what I can. Here it is. Ram Dass, very simple. When he was asked, and I've said this plenty of times before, Ram Dass, when he was asked the purpose of life, what is spirituality? What's the spiritual path? What can we do? And a very simple reply, we're all just walking each other home. Absolutely beautiful. That's what we're doing here in this conversation. That's what Noble's doing. That's what It Is What It Is doing. That's what Brian's doing. That's what Odom's doing with his garden. Every single one. I don't want to miss any name. In our own way, we're walking each other home. And I could not ask for a better position to be in my life. And I couldn't ask for better company to do it with. All the ones who show up here regularly, all the new people that come in, all the people that have yet to come here, doors always open. So with that, guys, I'm going to say goodbye. I'm going to do my meditation. And then, actually, before I do that, I'm going to have Noble up and the playlist playing. So let's see. Noble says, I'm glad to see you on my list of subscribers. You are forever on my whiteboard. I appreciate that. And I appreciate that even more because I know of the whiteboard. So that's a beautiful sentiment. Thank you. Noble says, see you later, buddy. Thanks, guys. Lewis, take care. Always appreciate you being here. Holgo, Mocha, Flower, Brian, Squirrel Sniper, and I don't want to miss anyone. I know I will. But thanks. Take care, guys.